Hi, it's Dr. Nick from my dojo here in Mallorca. Starting and going again, thank heavens. We're the scientific club, Kona Karate, and we analyse everything scientifically. Now, we are really going to do that tonight. We're moving the videos from the Facebook to YouTube, so we're doing them again. And the most important video seems to have gone missing, and that is the one about where force comes from. And we're going to do that today, now. Most of you know I'm a writer. I'm a fiction writer, but I also write technical books. That's up there for. That's my website. All these things I'm teaching you here are in a book I wrote years ago called Kicking the Crap Out of Martial Arts. If you put that into YouTube, you'll find it like this. It's no longer on Amazon, as they threw me off because I stole all the pictures in it like this. The thing I bring that up for is that you're told when you write a technical book that if you put one equation into that book, you will lose 50% of your readers immediately. People don't like equations. I don't like equations. I teach them. And that's a pity, because this is about an equation. One very simple equation that everyone who does Kona Karate knows and understands. And it's a very simple one. It's a word equation, and I'm going to teach it you now. Some of my instructors have it written up on their dojo walls because they know that you aren't going to get your black belt if you don't know this simple equation. So I'm going to take you through to the other side of my dojo. This is where I actually teach advanced science. If you'd follow me. Now, we go. This is where we all sit in settees and everything, discussing advanced physics. This helps me with karate. Jessica, come on. What is Newton's second law?
Force equals mass times acceleration.
That's the equation. Force equals mass times acceleration. I'm sure you want to give the others, but never mind. Now, who was Newton?
A physicist.
The second greatest scientist who ever lived. Yes, Newton, the second greatest scientist ever lived, and he came up with 3 laws of motion. Thank you. You can go away now. Let me write it on the board for you. And it is force equals mass times acceleration. Okay, now, your physics teacher might insist you put an X in there. If he does, the X is equal to 1 because you're on the planet Earth. He's just being a pedant. The only thing to do with these people is to punch him in the mouth. You have my permission. If he tries to teach us an X there, put another lot of children of physics for life, like this. There isn't. Ignore it. Let me write it out in a different way for you. Mass times acceleration equals force. Now, that determines the whole universe and everything in it. It's the most important equation you're ever going to have to know. Let me interpret it more easily for you for karate. Mass. Now, we will call that body weight. It's body weight there. Mass is the number of atoms in your body. That's also your body weight when you're standing on Earth. It won't be if you're in space, which you're not in space. You're unlikely to do karate in space. So we're going to call it body weight. Times acceleration. Acceleration is another word for speed in a direction. So we will just put speed. Now, you can understand it. Body weight times speed equals force. And here's the most important point. And nothing else. Nothing else has any effect on the force. 2 planets hitting each other. The force that comes from that will be the weight of the planet multiplied by the speed. A bus hitting you. It's the weight of the bus multiplied by the speed it's going. That is where the force comes from. Why I'm making a fuss about this, I'll show you. The most powerful handgun in the world used to be the Magnum 44. It's because the bullet weighs more. It's the same speed, but it weighs more. And it has an absolutely huge effect on the force. So why do we need this in karate? Well, of course you need it in karate. Let's say I weigh 100 kilograms, I wish. Right? I'm 100 kilograms, that's my body weight. Kilograms. Multiplied by, say, I punch at 50 meters per second. At 50 meters per second equals the force, which would be 500 newtons. What the hell's a newton? Well, if you pick an apple up, when I think of it, I have to see everything. Besides, if you pick an apple up and take it to your mouth, that will need be about 1 newton's worth of force. So I've just punched, doing that, with 500 of that force, times that force. Now, if Jess weighs 50 kilograms, and she punches at 50 meters, she would do 250 newtons. But if she, because she's so much younger, punches at 100 meters per second, she will hit you with 500 newtons of force. Now don't try and interpret the numbers. I'm taking them out the air. But if she can multiply the speed, which she should be able to do, she can punch with exactly the same force as I do. Strength does not come into it. It has no effect on the force of that punch. The force of that punch is how much body weight I can put behind it, multiplied by the speed. You're almost born with the speed you are. I would do a lesson on speed later on, right? You can't really get a lot faster. If you're fast, you're fast. It's the amount of, the percentage of white muscle fibers you've got, right? The person who runs the 100 yards is never going to win the marathon, right? I say that because Sebastian Coe still runs the marathon nowadays, just to annoy me, right? But you're never going to be brilliant at one sport. It will stop at two sports. It's the brilliance of one sport is going to ruin it for you for the other sports. You should measure, like Australia comes around the schools and decides what sports your kids should do and you should listen to. There's only some sort of sports you're going to excel in. Or in karate, how do we use this? If we say front kick, this front kick business, now the power of this kick can be devastating. But if you're doing this, all I'm doing is putting the weight of my leg times the speed. And that isn't going to weigh that much. If I can put my body weight behind it, it becomes a devastating self-defense kick. So if it's, now you've turned it into a killer of a kick. Same with punches, hook punches. This is why I keep moaning about this business. It's rubbish. You've got to try and put your whole body weight behind that punch. Now, if you've got this, it will change all of karate for you. Because you'll realise what crap so many people talk. You need long, strong, firm stance to get your power from the earth. Oh, come on. This is limiting you. If this was the best way to punch, you have to have a firm basis so you can punch from a firm basis. Now look at it. Let's apply that equation to it. Does this allow you to put more body weight behind it? And the answer is no. It stops you. All you can do is put that behind it. Does it make it faster? No. So it's wrong. They're wrong. It does not have any effect except it stops you punching hard. If I never saw Muhammad Ali get into this stance, right? What he was like move like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Yeah, he was. And when he punched, watch him, whoa, the body weight, whoa, behind it. That's what he's doing. I'm not sure he understood that equation, but he knew what he was doing. He didn't say, come on then, let's have a fight. And it allows you to take any of this nonsense talk to you, or you read on YouTube or stuff like this, or you'll get a training book, and it will talk about stance, how important they are. Just step back a moment and think about it and think, does that help me punch faster? Or does it help me put more body weight behind it? And if the answer to those questions are no, it is rubbish. If you want to punch harder, you've got to work on two things and only two things. How much of your body weight you can put behind the punch, and how fast you can do it. So who's the first scientist on the floor? Who's the best scientist to ever lived?
You.
Yes, quite right. Clear off. Yes, you'll pass your next belt. Okay, I hope I haven't bored you too much. I know I get vehement about this, but it's the absolute basic physics, which you all learned when you were about 13. And then, quite rightly, you immediately forgot it. I only know it because I have to teach it, right? And I reminded you again, that's the only equation you're ever going to need in your life. Trust me on that, right? And I'm a scientist. Thank you. I hope to see you next week. Good night.